Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. That's probably why.
Them
So,
hips.
I watched this video. Somebody said that Magearna is basically if you're MTNC and you grab Pikachu and just put them together. That's what you get.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pokemon Gotta Watch Them All, the podcast. We watch all the Pokemon movies. We talk about the things we love, the things we hate, and then we rank them in a nice big old list. I'm probably gonna leave bits and pieces of that whole conversation in. So anyway, rank them. My guests again, as usual, we have the typical powerhouse of a group here. I have my buddy Shuriblur. Dante, how are you today?
Heyo.
I have Kenai, the Dwarven Lion.
Rank 'em.
Chris Taufer, the RV2.
Chris what?
Chris
Taufer.
Taufer.
Chris Taufer.
Yeah, Chris Taufer. And John, the Princeton. Yeah, I was trying to think what my naming mechanic thing was there for a minute.
Howdy.
Howdy. So yeah, this week we watched Pokemon Volcanion and the Mechanical Marble. You probably heard from the little bit of splurge I'm going to leave at the beginning about Diancie and Magearna. I guess let's just go with Kenai.
Okay.
You were the verbal one. What did you think of Volcanion?
I don't hate this movie. It's not bottom of the list, but like flat out, I think it's like low mid tier.
Okay. So we can get into like story, like specifics. I know you said there are like 4 reasons or whatever,
Correct.
and I guess we can get to that. But like, what is it you didn't like? What part was like?
Mostly, like the big thing that kept bothering me is it seems like every time they're about to explain why Magearna is important, something happens that distracts. Like there's a point where the kid's about to explain it to Volcanion, and he's like, "You might be wondering why we need Magearna." And Ash is like, "Shut up, he's frozen." And I was like, he's kind of right, but like I want to know why it's important. And then like there's another part where the dude's like aiming this thing, and he's like, "Finally, I can use my blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna see why she's powerful." And then they like hit the ship, and he stops, and I'm like, "What does Magearna do? I just need to know."
Did you like this more than Keldeo or less than Keldeo?
Less than Keldeo.
Less than Keldeo. Okay. Ouch. What's the ranking on Keldeo?
What's that? Keldeo is
It's under Lucario, right?
I think so. I'm scrolling.
But I
Right
think Diancie's now in between.
Yes, Diancie's. So it's 10 is Lucario, Diancie, Kyurem. So 12 is where Keldeo sits.
Okay.
Right after that is Jirachi.
That's one of the major issues. The other major issue is Megas feel weak as hell.
No, they're not Mega Pokemon.
No, okay, so they are. And second, why introduce the actual mechanic of Mega Evolving for this specific movie to only use it on one?
Mega
on
Wave.
one of the 15 Mega fucking evolution Pokemon in the whole movie.
The Mega Waves.
They use it on one. They use it on Gardevoir, and that's it. All the other ones, they're like fake angry Mega
So this movie
Evolve.
was used to just introduce the new Megas that were coming in Oris.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
I got so
This movie
It's
came
just-
a year out.
it's just-
and a year after Oris.
It came a year after.
A year after.
Oh,
Is that-
this movie
we had
no
because we had the
Because
Oris
that-
ones here.
Because that was the first thing I looked up because like I saw Camerupt and then like I saw Beedrill and Sharpedo. I'm like, when the fuck did this movie come out? Because I thought it was like the grace period between X and Y and Oris, and then it's just like, hey, here you go.
So basically, this movie
I'm just-
doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, it's just Hoopa, but if you take all the mythicals out of it and then just add the Megas. That's what they did for this movie.
Yeah.
They were like,
kinda.
you're like, what Mega didn't we throw into the Hoopa movie? Let's throw them in here.
See,
The enemy team has all of them.
Before we get away from it, I agree with the story element part because I put that in my like pinpoint notes where I was like, until we got to the end and they explained like the heart soul, Magearna's purpose seemed we didn't know what it was.
I don't even think the Heart Soul explained it because they, like I said, every time they go to explain what
Okay, I
Magearna
won't say
is for.
explained. I said gave a subtle hint of purpose.
Sure.
Let's go with that.
So like every time they're like, here's what Magearna does. Like when they're about to like break it down, something happens that stops them.
Yeah.
And when they're like, okay, well this is, and even they do this like whole flashback, and they're like, Magearna's stronger and like more important than people think. And all you see is them looking on a burning city, and he goes, "What have I caused?" And like that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened that like what did Magearna do
So
that people were like, we need that?
This just felt like an upgraded DNC movie.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just DNC with more.
Yeah, so I know for me, I enjoyed this more than Diancie, but I also felt this not more fun, but I feel like if I watched Diancie a second time, I'd probably be annoyed listening to it again. Be like, I just watched this. I'd probably let Volcanion play and I wouldn't have that same issue. And I think I'm usually rose-colored glasses of the cool things in the movie as opposed to the actual plot at that point. Like, even though they're not really megas, Mega Aggron was on the screen. Mega Swampert was on the screen. I was really Mega Sound and Boomerang Man himself. Like,
Those Pokemon do more when they're not mega.
They do, 100%.
When they're not.
They do. But the visual excitement of seeing Mega Aggron, very exciting. Seeing, I think Volcanion is really cool. When they showed Volcanion, and we talked about this during Diancie too, about these weird distributions that just kind of popped up, and Hoopas too. Like,
Shiny Gardevoir and Shiny Gengar.
Yeah, and those, I loved Gengar.
Shiny Gardevoir is.
I couldn't tell at first when we saw Gengar. I'm like, I can't tell if it's discoloration or if that's supposed to be a shiny.
When I saw him, I was like, why is he blue?
Yeah.
To me, I completely disregarded it at first because I was just like, I literally just said, oh, they colored Gengar really weird in this movie. Because for some reason, I feel like the shiny in my mind is actually like the deeper saturated one.
Yeah,
and it's not apparently.
It's darker purple.
Yeah.
In the game, it's always
the
darker
anime
purple.
does that a lot too, though, where like shinies are just Pokemon that they
Have
don't
a
call them
different
shiny,
color.
but they're just different colors. Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
Like the cat or the Butterfree.
I prefer that over the.
Sure.
Because also another Pokemon that's hard to differentiate if it's shiny or not is Garchomp. Because it's just a darker palette. It's just slightly darker.
So-
Game Freak, I will give you $25 per badge shiny that I care about, just to fix. I think if you just made regular Gengar shiny the same white you do for Mega Gengar.
That's crazy. The crazy thing is though, they've changed shinies at this point.
They have. Well, why don't they
So
change
why-
the
why
important
aren't
ones?
they?
Some of them are bad.
Yeah.
But I would say
Well, a
this.
Pikachu should not be as lame as it is.
Yeah.
For the mascot, it
I
should not
think-
just be a little darker.
I think
They
for
should've made
Pikachu, they're more so worried about
Bulbasaur.
making one better than the other.
Bulbasaur. I
But
think
they did
Charizard
that.
has the best
Charizard's-
one of Gen 1.
Charizard's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get
Charizard's
the other
great.
ones, it's like.
The thing that just bugs me with Charizard that it's like orange, black. I just wish it
Yeah.
was all black. Or like I hate that they just decide to switch the colors.
So to quote you from in the Keldo movie, you made a comment that you said it's not necessarily a bad movie, but it does nothing to make it the best. I
Right.
think you said. That's how I feel about this.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is not bad.
I think the things this movie
But
was
it's not good
supposed
either.
yeah, the things this movie was supposed to do, like introduce the megas, I feel like, in my opinion, it did a bad job with it. I feel like it was supposed to make me care about Magearna, and it made me care more about Volcanion than Magearna, because Volcanion shows up and he's like, I take care of these abused Pokemon, and I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then he has this cool, like, stoic facade, and like I just really like Volcanion after this movie, and like seeing the way he used, because when I saw the ring, I was like, does he just make like a portal of water? What is that? But seeing them like detach and like
That they're,
like
like,
how he
actual
uses
limbs,
them,
yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
I think Volcanion, although he's like the grumpy old man the entire movie, I think
made me
Volcanion's
enjoy
awesome.
it.
yeah,
Volcanion running out of water
yeah.
drove me insane.
I actually
I
really
couldn't
liked it.
remember
It's like a
that.
wrestling
I don't remember seeing that because I only seen bits and pieces of this movie, and I'm watching that, and I'm watching it in Japanese, and I'm like, excuse me, what? Did I read that wrong? So I stopped the movie and watched it in English, right? Because it's like there has to be a translation error. There wasn't, and I was like, how does a water Pokemon run out of water? He has water moves.
I won't lie, I liked it.
I-
I thought it was something.
No,
Here's the thing.
it
We have
caught
to
me
kind of
off
throw some things out from what we know of game logic,
Yeah.
because Volcanion also got frozen. I was like,
Yeah.
it has
Scald,
steam eruption, it has scald, it has so many moves that will just
So
get out of that.
Volcanion
Like-
was water fire, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
He
Okay.
didn't use a single fire move.
I was gonna say all the fire was turning water into steam,
Yeah.
which I kept thinking, I'm like, maybe he's not.
I think his
I remember that
moveset
being a
is
thing.
very similar. It reflects that because he doesn't get as many. Because
Fire
I
moves.
went into my Pokemon.
He does have some fire moves.
Steam
Yeah, I went
eruption.
to my
Is
Pokemon
steam
home.
eruption a fire move or is it?
I would
Yeah.
assume it's one of those like,
Uh,
type
I thought it was
moves.
a-
I might be getting the name wrong.
Here,
'cause
I'll
he,
look it up.
he
I
also,
think
he
steam
also
eruption is the
gets
name.
eruption.
What's the name of the move?
Steam eruption. I'm pretty sure that is
Or
the name.
steam explode. It might be
Not sure.
eruption.
While John looks that up, because we already started getting into the plot, let me go to our what words? That didn't work out. Let's go to
It's
our
a water.
friendly website.
It's a water move.
It's a water move. Okay.
I think
As
it's
always,
a dual type move like Haldocha's flying. Power.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I grabbed the
Or like
synopsis
Maker
of the movie from the website Pokemon themselves, and let's talk about how they define this movie as.
It's a skull. It's a more powerful skull.
That sounds right.
In the latest cinematic adventure, Ash meets the mythical Pokemon Volcanion when it crashes down from the sky, creating a cloud of dust, and a mysterious force binds the two of them together. Volcanion despises humans and tries to get away, but it's forced to drag Ash along as it continues its rescue mission. They arrive in a city of cogs and gears, where a corrupt minister... Okay. I never really saw him as a minister.
I
but
wouldn't
guess
call him a minister.
How do you think they use that
yeah.
terminology?
He's an arcane scientist. That's
Yeah,
like what
because
they
they didn't
call
do
him
great
all
with
the time.
telling names. I just in the
Yeah.
whole script I put
Alva.
like the royal family, like when I'm talking about the bad guys.
Yeah, Alva's the guy, the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The more these movies go about, like, I know we kind of like rip on freaking Goon, but I was like, at least I remember him because his name represents who he is.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's see. Evil minister lost the rescue mission, arrived in the city to stable. Where an evil minister has stolen the ultimate invention, the artificial Pokemon Magearna, created 500 years ago. He plans to use mysterious power to take control of this mechanical kingdom. Can Ash and Volcanion work together to rescue Magearna? One of the greatest battles in Pokemon history is about to unfold. Debatable what that last part there was
Yes.
the greatest battle.
Absolutely
But,
debatable.
this movie is just the black and white movie, but better.
yikes, okay.
No, that's very accurate.
Yeah, I agree.
That is absolutely accurate. From the flying city to the random legendaries.
So
to
I
the-
immediately compared it to, I said this was steampunk Destiny Deoxys City, where it was like super moving streets and everything like
If
that.
it took more place in the city,
Sure.
yes.
Yeah, I made the bit about it, but yeah, as soon as they like, Clement sees the city like, oh my god, science, and they
It is.
So this-
find
I would say this
Magearna
is
and then it's
steampunk-
all out in the forest.
Steampunk DNC. It's
Yeah.
It is quite literally like it's like, hey, this ancient power that once did this for this city, we're going to revive it to try and use it again to do this. It is quite literally just black and white, but steampunk.
Also, did you watch any of the trailers for this movie?
No.
So when this movie was being marketed, they kept only showing the city. They never show any of the plot, any of like mega evolutions. They only show the city, like the walls and everything
Yeah,
like that.
That's because
on
it's
the
super
camera.
cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool city.
So
It'd
like
be cool to just
I
watch
watched
that minute.
I watched 2 trailers out of the 5 that were released, and the second trailer, which is like clockwork sounds, like the gears and like steam and everything, and I was like, wow, they showed us like 2 Pokemon, and I'm hooked in this movie because I always watch the trailers before I watch the actual movies, and I was like, wow, this trailer showed 2 Pokemon, which was Pikachu and Magearna, and it got me hooked. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, okay, I see what you did. Okay.
Interesting.
I think it's a fun movie, but I have a lot of issues with it.
Okay. Chris and I talked briefly while everyone was still getting here, we were setting up. I mentioned, because you said you had like issues with it, and I was like, maybe we have the same issues and you just don't like them as much as I do. Or you dislike them more than I do. I mentioned to Chris already, like my only like big complaint was like, why can Ash just keep changing his clothes when he's trapped in the ring?
I kept on throwing it because I'm like, what is he doing this thing where like if the ring is here, like he's like hoping
So
that the
pants
cloth
make
gets there and
sense.
then just
Yeah.
Sure, the pants, absolutely, but
Yeah.
the torso where his shirts go
Also, can we talk about Ash's drip?
is pretty nice. Yeah.
The like mailman. Yeah.
That he wore for like 20 minutes before he got wet again and then
Yeah.
switched to the pajama. Yeah.
I thought about that too, but then part of me was also like, well, usually there's like a little bit of give.
Sure.
And I guess they're just giving it some leeway. Like when you put a handcuff on, you still have some gaps in between, and fabric isn't that thick.
Sure.
So
Also, Ash is like a puny 10-year-old. He could have just like slipped right out.
now he got them hips. He got them hips. He's got an hourglass
He
frame.
got his mama's hips.
Oh, no.
He, like,
That's why he can't get out. He's got an hourglass frame.
he has Delilah hips.
I don't like that.
No, we talk about her in the next movie.
We do.
Thanks to Dante, now everybody has
Which,
Dick Ash.
speaking of Ash, that defensive armor he has. So for I'm just gonna get out
I like
before
it.
we talk
Mr.
about
Iron
the
Defense.
the
Yeah.
imports.
I kinda dug it.
When you made a comment where like Clement is always he's like here's an invention and then Ash is either science is awesome. I didn't. When that moment came up and Ash is like, oh, science is really awesome. I'm like, okay, nope, shit, okay.
He said it.
No, he said it. He said
Yeah.
fine.
Well,
He said
so
fine.
they did put the pause in between this time, where normally it's like, here's the invention, science is awesome, and like, he didn't do that right away.
It took him like
He saved
20
it
minutes.
until this is a part where I put a note where I'm like, okay, Pikachu should probably be dead. But they were like, Volcanion, use your big move, save the day, da da da. So he gets the suit of armor, grabs Pikachu, squeezes them against Volcanion. Volcanion uses Steam Erupt or whatever the big explosion is that does. I don't think they even named the attack. I'm like, should Pikachu not just be like splattered on Ash's chest now? Like,
it's another movie where Ash has to gain the trust of a Pokemon. Because I think that happened. That's a very common like trope in the movies. You have to go Lucario, Sark, and
Because humans are bad.
Yeah.
But that's like I get why Pokemon will think that. It's just that it's a repeating plot.
Yeah.
Ash should have just been like, oh, I saved my Charmander from being abandoned. I saved so many Pokemon from being
You
abandoned.
should have seen my Tepig.
Yeah.
And my Chimchar, and all my fire types are
Yeah.
abandoned by their training.
Because here's my
You're a
thing.
fire type.
When
I can train you.
Volcanion was talking with Ash and Pikachu, and then Pikachu's like, yeah, Ash did like all this stuff for me, and then Volcanion's
You're
like,
lying.
he's like, you're lying, and I'm like, so this is where Ash gets his Charizard, and then it sets up Mega Evolution for the Charizard.
He's off doing. I think he's at Oaks Lab at this point. I don't think he went back to Charizard Valley anymore.
He came briefly back in the 5th movie, so that means that he was with Ash at some point.
See,
not the 5th movie.
Wait, where he be in
5th
Black
generation
City?
movie.
Yeah,
For
the Gen 5
Genesect.
movies.
For Genesect.
He'll be in
back
Dragon
there.
City, technically, right?
What's that?
Does he go to Professor Oak?
Yeah.
He does?
I think So it's Charcivic Valley.
That's
and
what I always
Johto,
thought. So
and then I think after Spellman, and he goes back. And then he comes back again for one league. I don't know what league it is. It might even been just Orange Islands or something. And then from there he goes to Oaks Lab, and that's where he is.
For some reason, I always assumed he just went back to Dragon City.
Typically, and there might be some where he goes back and forth, whatever. But I think at a certain point, canonically, he's just at Oaks Lab most of the time.
Because correct me if I'm wrong here, but like the one thing I was waiting for, and like just to hear about in the anime was Charizard going back to Ash. Why evolution? Because I know there was the trainer that had the like a Charizard X, and I thought they were gonna do like an X versus Y because like my Charizard's better than yours, and then they never did it.
No, they did something better.
Ash
Greninja, baby! By the way, they had the chance to do that when Incineroar. I know it's super off topic. The whole Battle Bond thing is a great gimmick that only Ash can have, and it makes sense. And I think that Incineroar was the perfect Pokemon to do it after Greninja.
You had told me at one point, you're like, you're not cut up in the anime, but they're doing the exact same thing.
Because they cured it up.
You were like, they're going to have Ash and Incineroar. I'm like, cool, can't wait to see it.
Every time they did, because he never used the C moves in Torracat, but they always split the screen where Ash would do something, and like they show half and half, and I'm like, they did that in Gen 6
with Greninja.
Hundreds of times with Froakie, then Frogadier, and they finally, and then the last battle with Kukui, I was like, Ash is about to get
this super important thing he could carry forever.
yeah,
At
the one
the
they've been
last
building up
minute.
for the whole time, and then he did it, and I was
Yeah.
like, there has to be another battle. That you don't build something up for no reason. And then I remember the GS ball, and then I was like, oh yeah, they do build things, and just pull it up.
Side note, I thought about it after seeing this movie, because I think it's the last one we get Greninja. I looked up Ash's, and also going into I Choose You with Butterfree and stuff. I was just like, who all is Ash like given away? And I saw a top 10 list of like the least important to the most important Pokemon that Ash has given away. And it was like Butterfree, Primeape, and the list kept going up. And then like number one was just like Greninja, and it was Ash, Greninja, and Ash hugging. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking cry.
So,
What a dummy! Why would you do that?
in the anime right now, Ash has one returning Pokemon. They haven't said what it is, right? And we know it's a water type.
Okay, I know he got Infernape back recently.
Yeah,
but that
and
was
we know it's a water type. So he's gonna have a returning Pokemon. It's gonna be a water type, and everything in my heart is saying, Ash, if you don't pick the Pokemon that you bonded with more than Pikachu for whatever reason, even though you only know him for like maybe 6 months.
Ash Pikachu.
That was a distribution event for Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
I was like, if you don't pick Greninja, something's wrong with you. If you pick, I love Squirtle. I'm Squirtle gang.
I totally get it.
But if he picks Squirtle over Greninja,
I'm sure Squirtle's more accessible in terms of.
I also
realistic.
feel like they might do Squirtle for the Dynamax or Gigantamax.
he has a lot of.
He'd have to evolve.
He would have
twice
to evolve
that,
it, yeah.
He already
But
has Gengar and Pikachu.
He does,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Fat Pikachu.
I love Fat Pikachu.
Gen
Does,
1,
yeah.
straight 2.
But yeah, anime is cool. But yeah, so the movie, I don't really know, like, the plot's pretty basic. We meet Magearna at one point. She's like this invention from Nicola for the royal family, like 500 whatever years ago. And Volcanion is just like, I'm here to protect Magearna, and we don't really know why until like much later in the movie. But yeah, the whole plot is we get Magearna, and then the gang's like, hey Volcanion, I know you hate us, but we have friendship bracelets, so we have to stay together.
We're connected at the
Yeah.
leg.
Your leg, my torso. You're slamming it all the time.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how people felt about that specifically, but
Hmm.
I thought that was at least an interesting way of tying these two entities together for a
reason they
time
have to, yeah.
being.
It was better than
Um,
Ash being like, I need to take responsibility for this.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
think,
shows it.
because I mean, yes, it's oddly convenient, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily like that because Ash's mom wormed their way into the third movie.
Yeah.
But even though that's oddly convenient, I still feel that that's believable because otherwise Ash would have got crashed by Volcanion, and Volcanion would be like, yes, piss off, kid.
Bye.
So I think that's
Yeah.
that's at least a good way of tying them into the story.
So do you guys want to hear my fourth complaint about the movie?
Sure, let's go, bud.
So I've gotten used to Legendaries talking, right?
Okay.
They had a perfect chance to have a man-made Pokemon
Yeah.
be able to talk, and they gave it to Volcanion instead of the one that's made by a person who shows up and goes beep boop 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 beep boop 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 bop bop.
I find
was
the
so
R2D2 beeps
mad.
endearing.
I was gonna say, I was like, I totally agree, totally get it. I did find Magearna just like really charming with the little beeps and boops. I enjoyed that.
I didn't
I love-
hate that they did it, but if they were going to make one Pokemon
Yeah.
that was mythical or legendary talk that
Yeah.
would have made sense other than psychic types,
I will say this.
that was the chance.
I love the
Yeah.
design. I like the concept.
It's just a Pokeball.
I love the lore, right?
If Bumblebee talks,
Yeah.
it just
But the
strings
beeping-
together a whole
The
bunch.
beeping stuff, stupid.
Oh,
I love
it.
everything
Aw.
about it, but the movie. But I like everything about Magearna, right? But the second that basically did the sounds, I was like, this was 500 years ago.
No.
I feel
wanna-
like his talk should have been more mechanical, like more like.
Like grinding.
Yeah.
I want to.
That's just adding logic to
Sure,
it.
sure. So I guess in retort with Magearna should be talking about Volcanion. I think about it if we don't change the movie at all, except for Magearna talk, Volcanion doesn't. I feel like the progression of plot is far less.
I don't even care that
Capable?
Volcanion talked.
Sure.
I was like, if it's a mythical or legendary, it's gonna talk. And
So
the
it-
one where it would have made sense, they didn't. They booped and beeped,
Have we
and I
had
was like,
have we had a mythical that doesn't talk?
Uh,
Celebi.
Zeraora. Well, that's not a mythical.
Celebi kind of like beep beep.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Is Zeraora not a mythical?
And Mew.
I don't
with
think
the-
so.
Okay.
Celebi, Manaphy.
Is it?
Well, arguably Manaphy.
Because Zeraora is
Manaphy kind of talks.
Manaphy kind of talk.
because the Zoroark, Zeraora, and Lucario like furry style creature confuse me all the time. Or like, I know Zeraora's a
They're
mythical.
like
Zoroark,
rare.
yeah, and Lucario are not. They're not mythical.
Okay, I thought Zeraora was a mythical the whole time.
Zeraora
is.
Oh, okay.
Zoroark is
Yeah,
not.
Zoroark is.
Oh, okay, I also assumed
Yeah.
that he was a mythical because
Right.
the marketing.
Yeah,
And for a while, I
Zor-
thought he
yeah.
was distribution. I think.
Zoroark's like Lucario in the sense that it's kind of just
Special.
It's a cool
special
furry that people
Pokemon,
like.
but
Okay.
No, I get it. I enjoyed personally the beeping and the booping of Magearna. I thought it was cute, like when it trips over the ledge and like beeping underwater, and then they like pull it out. And like it's a funny little thing. I was afraid it was not remembering it. I thought it might happen with jumping a little ahead with I Choose You of like the moment where the Pokemon talks because it's. Why not? People will like it, right? I thought there might have been a moment where Magearna would start speaking, be like, Volcanion, I love you, whatever. And I was like,
I think it
I
also
do
would have
that.
helped if they did the Manaphy route and it's picking up words.
Yeah.
It's a mechanical Pokemon, so
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, at that point, if you have a Pokemon that is talking to you in English and you were built in a place that is speaking in human,
yeah.
it would have already picked up stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there's another thing Magearna does in this movie that bothers me, and like the whole time anybody's like aggressive, it does the flowers, and then the one time just out of nowhere it's like gun, and then it just
One of my favorite
it just
moments.
misses completely, like way off.
Flower.
God,
Yeah.
I think that's great misdirection.
It just Mega Man attacks the bad guys, but like 2 yards off of the target. It threw me for a loop so hard.
Oh man,
gun.
God. Well, let's not also forget. I'll say this right now, since we're on the topic of gun. We had a Pokemon hunter with an actual RPG
Yes.
in this movie.
Yeah.
RPG is
Not
the
a
most
net.
effective.
Not a net like Team Rocket used to.
Well, he wasted the net
At
on
first,
the
when he
net.
fired it, I was like, "Oh, it's just gonna spiral out in the net." It hits Volcanion.
He probably had net ammo. he used it on the Amora, and he's like, Amora? Who needs that? There's a
Volcanion.
a lava water cat in front of me. I should catch that instead. And
So-
then, oops, I loaded the wrong ammunition. It just blew up the thing.
So when they roll up and they have like Pinsir, Heracross, they have like the whole squad, I'm like, oh, those are all megas.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then like the chaos, the mega wave, whatever,
Mega
I was
wave.
like, if that's how they're gonna do megas in this movie, like at least they stay consistent with not using the actual mega
Yeah.
stone, and they just explained it in the intro to be like,
Yeah.
to clear up. When they had Gardevoir be the only one who mega evolves the right way, I was like, okay, sure, whatever. The thing that bothered me so much is that this movie was supposed to hype up megas, and an army of mega evolution Pokemon loses to Talonflame, Pikachu, Volcanion, and Greninja.
Zygarde.
I think.
Oh,
Well,
at the end of the fight, Zygarde dog shows up. It's like
We got
20%
Zygarde
movie.
sent
I think.
to me. I don't know what that form's called.
Isn't it just the dog?
No, he turns into big.
Does he?
Yeah.
He turns
That's
into the perfect.
at the end, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's once the big laser shooting at the
Megatron.
plateau.
I just remember the dog.
Yeah, he
No,
turns
yeah.
into the dog,
Yeah.
and then she's like swishy, and then
So in the
Which
anime,
that also confused the
which-
hell out of me.
yeah. So through the anime, they find a cell, and she's
Okay.
like, "You're cute," and like he can talk, doesn't talk to them, and throughout the entire thing, he's like, he sees more cells, like, be ready, it's going down at some point, just be ready, and then
little
eventually.
does she knows she has an actual like
Right,
god.
Yeah, they have no idea what this thing is. It's just a blob. And like, there's no Pokédex entries. Like, let's just bring it with us.
just put some in the purse too. It's just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she squeezes it in there with the Dene sometimes. Like,
So this
Get
movie,
Which-
this movie, I think something that would have helped is so in the anime, the kids, Clement and Bonnie, their dad has Blaziken, and he's like the strongest trainer in the Kalos region. He's a master of Mega Evolution. They only ever showed Blaziken, but all his Pokemon can Mega Evolve.
Okay.
If there's ever a movie to bring him in, because
It was this one.
the anime did not follow anything with him at all.
no, they pretty much
just-
he showed up like twice
Yeah, like he
at the
would
beginning,
constantly
and then like the
stop.
reveal of who he was.
Yeah, so he was basically like Team Rocket, where he's in the episodes. So
Okay.
every 5 to 10 episodes, you'll see him like, and he's like looking down, looking like a Kuma, while his Blaziken's like Mega Evolved out of battle, and like he just like, this kid is good, right? So they did that for the whole anime, and I thought he was going to show up here because he's supposed to be this master of Mega Evolution. They never did anything with him, and I feel like this would have been the movie to put him in, went to his ability of, you know, being able to Mega Evolve Pokemon, because he doesn't have the stones, and he can still Mega Evolve Pokemon. But
Champ.
they didn't do anything with him, and he has a team with 6 Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. So this would have been like all these Mega Evolve Pokemon versus this, and it would have worked so well, and they missed the mark.
Yeah. I think it was their way in the middle of being like, yes, they are mega formed, but we know that it's a bond thing, and it's not just, I don't just turn it on and off because I have the Pokemon, like, so to force them all to turn into their ultimate forms, like, but you're the bad guys, you shouldn't have that kind of bond, yet remain weaker because it's not true mega evolution, I think is the only real reason that to justify, like, yeah, they didn't win, even though they have mega Pokemon, they're
So
not really,
Are we kind of like, because you've seen season 3 of Digimon with
yeah, with
that's-
Tamers.
like when they forced they
Yeah.
forced Gilmon to evolve, and he was like big and powerful, but not as strong as well.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
what.
that one's called, but yeah, I know it.
That's,
Growlmon.
that's the thing that to me it made sense, even though I don't know if they necessarily explained it. Is
I don't
the
think-
fact
no.
that these megas aren't necessarily like a lot of power comes from the actual friendship, like Gardevoir
Right.
has.
They kind of just like mention it like during battle, where they're like, it's not proper mega evolution, you're not gonna get the most out of it.
Speaking of Gardevoir, though, Kimio's.
Like, I ultimately understand why they lost.
Sure.
It's just the fact that they were like, we need to hype up the megas, so they gave the bad guys full mega teams just for them
15.
to get bodied almost the entire time.
Yeah.
I was like, at that point, just
Well,
leave
there's the
them
part
normal.
where Steelix and somebody else bodied Volcanion, a
That's when
Manectric.
they weren't mega though, right?
Yeah.
That's
They
when it was
still-
just Steel. Yeah.
yeah.
Which, by the way, one thing this movie does really well that I really, really like is the small interactions between Pokemon. Like, there's a part where Bonnie and Clement are on the back of Clement's Luxray, and Dedenne is steering it,
Yeah.
following Ash's like electromagnetic pulse waist ring. And Dedenne is like, he's like, and he like zaps Luxray, and Luxray's like, and just like turns and starts
Speaks with
booking it.
electricity.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's amazing. I love
I would
that.
prefer if they would have gone the Ratatouille. He just cuts the hairs.
Just like
The more-
Gundam pilots, Luxray. He's a Zoid.
The more we watch these movies with Luxray in it, the more I realize that Luxray is a boss Pokemon
He's
and
so
is
cool.
just crap in game, and it sucks.
Just so you know, Ash was supposed to get Luxray, and then they decided to move it during the production process because he has Pikachu.
Luxray's so
Ooh.
cool.
Because
Imagine
Luxray,
how awesome
in
it
the
would be.
opening of this movie, when they're doing the battle, Luxray eats an Electro Ball, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit! That was like one of the hypest
And
parts
then you
of
know
the
what
movie
happens
to me.
next? You know what happens next movie to
That
Luxray?
reminds me. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Go. What were we saying? What?
You know what happens to Luxray next
That-
movie?
let's not, we're gonna get into that.
Different Luxray.
We're gonna get into that.
We'll get
I-
there.
Is this the
Love that
movie
scene.
where Ash rides the Onyx? Is it the next one?
I choose you as the Onyx.
Okay,
one.
never
That's the
mind.
next one.
But in term with the eating the Electro Ball, I want to talk about how Bumblebee totally clowned on Noivern for a while.
Yo,
That should never happen.
he straight up grabbed him and spun him, and I was like, whoa, what is up with his Bumblebee?
They were like, let's train. That Bumblebee's busted. Again, and then later, I think I put in during the mega fight, and this was to go along with your thing, where, again, I treat it more as a meme than like, I hate this. Somebody is messing someone up that just doesn't make sense. I want to say it was like, it might have been Bumblebee was like messing up freaking Glalie or something. And it was just like, okay.
That's huge power, dude.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Bumblebee's pretty cool though.
I will say, since I'm not sure what order we're going in this anymore.
Yeah, just talk about whatever.
They just didn't want to give him
With
crazy bunny.
Clement knowing stuff about this city, this is the first time where like a side character is just spouting stuff. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because any other time it's like Brock is like, I know all these mythical Pokemon.
You mean
It's like,
the
excuse me,
legendary
huh?
Or they
Pokemon.
pull out the magical book
Yeah.
that has everything about this specific
My
situation.
little black book of ladies. Well, Brock, that's a little creepy.
But,
Sorry.
Also, Team Rocket didn't play a role here.
They did. They actually did.
Yes.
But this is one of those moments where I think it was kind of cool how they brought them in because they were hired by the evil
Yeah.
guy.
Well, yeah,
And
but
then,
they
it
had
didn't
pincer and
really
hair
amount
cross.
to much. So.
Yeah.
Which, at that point, I was like, did they give them a pincer and a Heracross in this season? That's dope.
I got that.
And then they had him back when Team Rocket wasn't there, and I was like,
you know
oh,
what they're
they
doing
gave-
now? They're doing
Yeah.
season.
What?
There's a Delibird that comes in and he drops a gotcha, and they have to put a coin in it.
Yeah.
And then they get a
They
fully
get a-
evolved Pokemon. Like they have had from Aggron to Nidoking, Nidoqueen, right?
Just for like an episode?
Yeah.
No, this is every episode.
The gotcha is it's the bit now. So
Yeah.
like we're blasting off again. Team Rocket's like, we're here, Ash. We're gonna steal your Pikachu. Go, and then something comes out.
Right, but they only get that Pokemon for that
Correct. Yeah,
episode.
they don't just
Okay.
keep Aggron forever. They put it
Gotcha.
back in the gotcha.
Yeah. But they're getting like Pokemon that you would never like. There's certain Pokemon that are getting a lot of love now. And recently James got Scolipede.
Oh,
Yeah.
And like James
He's so
gimmick
cool.
is still when he releases the Pokemon, even
It,
though
like,
they don't
loves
know
him.
him,
Yeah.
they still attack him and like not on purpose, like in love. And like Scolipede, and I was like, he needs to get a Scolipede now.
Yeah.
So they didn't battle with him; they wrote it, and I was
Okay.
like, oh, they're so awesome. Yeah,
There's some cool mons.
yeah.
One thing I noticed, and I don't know if anyone else heard it. There's when Alva takes him, they capture Magearna, take him back to the ship, and then the gang follows in, and Kimia gets inside, and they're like bantering back and forth. He's like, "How are you alive? We literally blew you up." And she's like, "The Pokemon of the plateau saved me." And he goes, "So they did, but they recorded the line
So they did,
twice,
so they
and
did."
layered it."
Yeah.
So he was like, "So they did."
It was like, so they did.
Yeah.
I thought I had a stroke
No.
while
Yeah,
watching that.
it's
I'm
like
glad to know I'm
it's like they were in
okay.
Premiere and they're like, I like this take better. Wait, what's okay? And then deleted it and then like undid it and left those two
Yeah.
audio
He
clips.
legitimately interrupted
I didn't
himself.
get
Yeah,
that.
he was
I
like,
wish I
so
would've
they
done-
did,
I
so
wish I
they
would've done
did.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad to see a villain with a stutter problem.
Representation.
Also, whoever wrote this movie doesn't know what mean look does.
So
It does whatever you
Yeah,
want it to.
So the first time I was like, okay, Magearna can't run away, it's stuck in place, it kind of makes sense. And the second time, he's just like, oh, we can't control the soul heart. Gengar mean look. And it's just like, yes, I am so scared I will steer the ship and shoot your laser. Yes. Like, it did not make sense at all.
I'm just, to be fair, Hypnosis has done everything under the sun at this point too.
That's
It's
so-
true, but like, then just use hypnosis. Like, that at least makes more sense, because the premise of hypnosis is like, you're under my control. Mean Look is like, don't run away from me.
And they use psychic to fly in this movie.
Which is fine. They've done that before.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That scene, the talking, because I watched it in Japanese. I'm
Yeah.
sure I would have watched it in English. Remind me of the thing in Dark Knight Rises, where Bane always interrupts people like in the beginning, and he's like, "It will be very painful," and the guy's like, "For you," and like he doesn't let him finish. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, it was. I ran it back. I'm like, yeah, no, someone messed that up, and like the fact I imagine the film process, having never truly been on the set of like a movie release and just seen, secondhand how it all goes through. Somebody finished that movie, exported it. They had like a group view session of some sort. Some handful of people watched
So
that.
usually you get 100 people
Right.
to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And they all write mistakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then that happened. Apparently, all 100 of them missed so they did, and then they published it on DVD and Blu-ray.
Which then you have another 100 people before that happens.
Yeah, okay. Also, 200 people heard that. Then they released it on YouTube to purchase, and no one ever fixed that. I feel like they probably lost the working file. Said it's gone.
I imagine
we
it's
can't
because
fix
like
that.
all 100 of those people were on their phone because the movie got boring, and then they're like, "Huh?" What happened?
So,
I think what happens is eventually somebody's like, oh yeah, that's a mistake. But
So-
it's a mistake we'll own up. Let's just keep it in.
I didn't think about it at first, and if to me it was like, so they did. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I initially
Exactly.
interpreted it, and then I took
then
it
they-
back, and it was like, so they did, and I was like, why did he interrupt himself?
I saw like
man, you
Jujutsu
gotta get those
Kaisen.
thoughts out before you get tripped up.
It seems like a
happens
big-
all the time.
It seems like a bigger issue now, as opposed to way back when we were watching Jirachi and they didn't match lip flaps at all.
Yeah.
It's just
And
like,
that was
oh.
another thought I had, is like, maybe like the animation, his mouth moved more than just a single so they did, so they like tried to do it again, but they just timed it wrong.
Yeah.
But it also reminded me of the Alakazam, and it's a fucking Scyther. Like the clear mistakes.
Chris, how'd you like the flying fortress mansion thing? The fact that it just was made out of the city walls.
Black and white.
And at this point, vehicles can do and they can be
Holy
whatever
shit.
they want.
Speaking of
to.
vehicles,
Hold on. Yeah, we'll get to that. But go ahead.
Shit, sorry.
No, they could just be whatever they want to be. I'm not surprised at this point.
Yeah.
There's something later that I'm sure we'll get to, like one of like the bigger moments, but that one kind of had me frustrated
Yeah.
because it's a trope that I just hate when they go for it and then they immediately pull back on it.
Yeah.
But I'll let you guys do it.
Alright. So, can the fanboys talk about the vehicle that they love?
The princess on the motorcycle just like, woo! Just for it to turn into like a helicopter backpack. And she's still sitting and she's just like,
Well,
just like floats away. And I was like, why even have it turn into a motorcycle? Why did it start as a motorcycle when you could just literally sit down and fly out of the cave on it?
What is it, Pokemon 2, or is it 2, where the bolt turns and it starts flying?
That
The
one
car
was,
would have been Heroes. That was Annie Oakley.
no, the
Or-
boat.
No, that was the one with the
4.
sideways Ferris wheel.
Oh, the boat?
The boat was 4.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
What was the plot
That
of
was
2?
forever.
The boat was two.
Because the boat.
There's also-
Two was the fortress for Lawrence. or
Yeah, but
Clarence.
there was also
There's
the
also a
flying
flying
boat
boat,
that
too,
wasn't
yeah.
a flying boat. That they were like, yeah, let's just pop the sail out of this thing.
That's
I'm
what this
thinking-
reminded me of. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm thinking of the hot air balloon one, where they get to the like vertical
forever.
waterfall and they're just like, whoop.
Yeah, so I immediately thought of Annie and Oakley's car from Heroes when they drove off the cliff and then turned into a jet, and that's
See, and it's because of shit like that desensitized me to this moment that I'm like, something's gonna happen. Saw that, and I'm like, all right, that's on brand for
You know,
Mario.
you know
just
when
waiting
you
for
play
Zero
Mario
and his
Kart
air segue to fly in.
8, you know when you're playing Mario Kart 8 and you change terrains and the tires sideways?
But Kanai brings up a very good point. Just like
Why
where it
motorcycle?
is situated, it has no reason
Yeah.
of being a bike.
Every other one, it was like they were on the road and then they needed to fly, so it turned into the plane, or it was a boat and needed to go up a waterfall, or it was a boat and needed to go onto like land or a mountain or whatever. So like for the most part, the situations made sense. But then there was just the motorcycle into the flying thing when they could have just flown out of the opening in the cave, and I was like, Okay. The motorcycle is cool for all of like 3 seconds it was on screen, I guess. And then she's in a whole new airship.
And then
We're gonna see her
the
later.
crazy thing is, it doesn't even amount to anything.
Yeah, you never see it again.
It was just to make Kimia the queen of the movie. She was pretty great.
But she showed up with the goth Gardevoir.
Whatever. No one cares about
Gothawar.
Pokemon. No one cares
Gothawar.
about that. That weak ass Pokemon from Pokemon Unite. No one cares. I do want to mention how we've had like a severe lack of hyper beams in the last couple movies, so
And
they
then-
just stockpiled them here.
Yeah.
When they like, let's kill Magearna by taking its heart. Gengar throws it off like hyper beam. Who are you talking to? Everyone.
I do like that though, because up until that point they were like, so and so use this, so and so use that, and then it's just like, all right, we need to make sure that we're good. Hyper beam, and then all of them do dark pulse.
It looks-
yeah, and I was like, okay, sure, buddy.
It was
You know
an
the
evil hyper beam.
Yeah.
It's like, how many hyper beams? Yes.
That's
Yes.
7 hyper beams.
We haven't used one in a little while, so the audience isn't going to be
Like
expecting.
just roll a d20, like, oh shit, we're doing 20.
If they used
We
it
only got
in
14
Hoopa,
Pokemon.
we wouldn't have known because nobody
That-
yelled
yeah.
attacks except for
Yeah.
Ash when he was like, Hurricane!
No, everything was just
Twister.
a hyper beam.
Twister, yeah, that's what it was.
Twister and Rayquaza just shoots a hyper beam. Like, okay, yeah, that's on brand.
Which corrects me. So Volcanion said Volcanion looks over to the hippopotas, and then he goes, "Thanks for the safeguard." So because someone used safeguard, which is
So,
a multi-hitting move, and I'm like,
yeah.
Hippopotas used dig.
And
Who used
Altaria?
Safeguard?
Yes,
There was
Altaria.
I think it was like 3
The
Altaria.
Altarias used Safeguard.
Because I was like, so in all of these movies and all of these adventures where Pokemon just say bucket explosion, nobody decided that this was a move that they need to have.
No one had Altaria.
Safeguard also doesn't do that.
It
That's
goes on
protect.
other Pokemon
Hey,
too.
No.
They
Because
could-
Lugia used Safeguard to protect Ash.
I know he did. I was hoping.
Yeah.
If anyone, you're the one who would think about it.
Metagross had Protector, so.
Because
Use Protector.
I'm just thinking like all these times that like these Pokemon just shoot a beam like horizontally. No one thought, hey, Safeguard. Just
Yeah.
never. Like, okay.
I don't know.
So
Um,
it bugged me that they chose Safeguard instead of Protect. Because like
yeah.
they didn't even use it on them; they used it on themselves and stood up above them so they didn't get hit. But I thought it was a cool combination.
So
But-
there's a Pokemon that showed up here that I like, and it's never been shown that they barely even showed it in the anime.
Watchog.
It's a Gen 3 Pokemon.
Watchog.
Gulpin?
Yes.
So
Okay.
Gulpin was the
Gulpin was cool.
emotional transition of
I
like,
love that
we
Gulpin.
need to know that we're friends now.
I don't like that he
Gulpin
had 3
sucks.
mouths.
So
Let him have all the mouths he wants.
during my first play ever, I got one, and I did the whole stockpile and then whatever.
You're the
and
worst.
I know. I fell in love with him because I love poison type Pokemon, and then ever since then, like they never put the spotlight
Yeah.
like ever. Like even in Gen 3, he was in 2 episodes.
I
Right?
do like Gulpin.
It doesn't need it.
Gulpin and Swallow.
It doesn't need it.
The attention.
No, it doesn't need it. After I pulled a freaking slow start Gulpin on my random, it doesn't need it. It
I
doesn't need
forgot
it.
about that.
Doesn't need it.
So for context, the way so after we're saving Magearna, we're taking it home to the Nibel Plateau.
Nibel Plateau.
Nibel.
Nival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They take it to nice forest land.
With the ring tree for some reason.
Yeah. But we're seeing all these Pokemon like, ooh, humans, like what's and like very similar to Volcanion, like we don't trust humans.
But they trust humans very fast.
Yeah. Well, they let all their Pokemon out, and they're kind
Yeah,
of
they
like,
do this side of paradise. Except
Exactly.
not with the same type of energy.
There's this part where like Zigzagoon and Dedenne are kind of trying to sniff each other's asses to be like, are we okay, we're good. And there was, oh my god, it was Luxray and Heliolisk. Heliolisk is the little one, right?
Yes.
Heliotile.
He-
That's the little one?
Small one's Heliotile.
Heliolisk
Yeah.
is the big one? Okay.
Heliolisk
Little
is the
one.
big one.
They were doing like that little electric, like, I can make Shockies too. And they're like, oh, I like you. Me too. Like, that was adorable.
Sylveon got frisky.
Exactly.
That was weird.
Touching Litleo.
I did not know how to feel about it. Litleo was like, get off me now. I was uncomfortable for the Litleo.
You support this, Chris? You like Sylvia? Is she out there touching people without consent?
Look, every other Sylveon.
Not Serena.
Have you seen Serena, like, it was like in the anime, like, Dragon Meteor was used on a fairy type, and like, you know how it's not effective?
Yeah.
But in the anime, she
It's immune, I think.
like, she uses the little ribbons and like
Just, like-
destroys it. Have you seen that at all?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, after this, I'll show you the clip. It's the coolest thing ever.
But yeah, at this point, like Ash and Volcanion are like, we're still like physically stuck together. We're on watch. Volcanion's like, go to hell sleep. I'll watch. And Ash's like, nah, I'll stay up too. And Volcanion's like, they like fall asleep on his shoulder area. Like, all right, kid's kind of cute. But then Gulpin shows up and he's able to like melt the band, so now they can finally separate. I was afraid he was gonna like burn Ash's shirt or something.
I was gonna bring that up, and I'm glad you did because Ash should have died. He should have died, Saw style.
Just right through his
because like
chest.
Gulpin just goes, and then I'm like, okay, so it's melting the lock, so it should probably go a little bit. I'm like, I get that, but then Clement, like the way that blade just, I was like, all right, Ash should just.
Are we still doing the idea of we end the movie where Ash should have died?
Yeah,
It's right there.
Clement's like, I got it.
No, that would have happened like 3 minutes ago when Volcanion took off. That would have been what happened.
And then, or the moment where Volcanion's like, hey, get off me, and Ash is like, no, and he's like, no, you let go of me first, and then he goes, all right, I'm gonna blast you off.
He'll blow you up.
And then it's just, Ash is just like, well, what do you, he should have died.
Black credits
He
roll.
should have died.
I call it the Far Cry ending.
But yeah, right after they get the brace off, Ash like grabs Gulpin's like, oh my god, thank you so much, you got me away from
And
this
it's like,
ugly. Yeah, and it freaks out.
freaks out.
And Volcanion's like, I think he says basically like, I don't ask, or he doesn't tell, so I don't ask, like for Gulpin's story.
He gave it.
So he does give the story
Yeah.
then, but he does. Oh, maybe he says about.
I think
He
it's
says,
a little later.
he says
Okay.
that the trainer gave him a big hug before he
Right.
before
So
he
he does
left.
tell it that.
And then he said that's all he knows, and he's not going to
Okay.
ask more,
That's
which
what it
I
was.
feel like is a pretty good point because
Yeah.
someone with trauma like that,
Don't want to talk
you
about
let them go to you with it. You don't ask because it's at that point it's
Gotcha.
like weird. Which
That's it. Then I remember it being like, I don't. He hasn't told me, so I'm not gonna ask him. And then he's like, his trainer hugged him. And I'm like, I thought you didn't know, but okay.
right, yeah.
But yeah, like this is the part where Volcanion plays like mediator to be like, look, I don't trust you people. These Pokemon don't trust you people because they've all had this experience of my trainer's an asshole. I was waiting for like one of Ash's starter fire Pokemon
Any
to
of
walk
them.
in. Like
Any of
I
them.
remember like this.
Any of them.
That's so true. They all, even
Yeah, all of Ash-
Torkoal was abandoned. And
There was a
Grief.
point, I think we talked about like once, I just never did. I was going to do a nomenclature where we ranked Ash's Pokemon. But this one season was still going, so we kept getting new ones, so I had to readjust the list. And I had like a bit where I was just like, Tepig. Pokemon that gets left by its trainer and Ash takes it over, and then just go on talk about Tepig. Go later like, Charmander. The fire type starter that gets left by its trainer. Did I ever read this? Okay, anyway. Chimchar. Wait a minute, and like read the same thing.
Carnivine, the best of the Gen 4.
Tepig had it the worst though.
I feel like this one doesn't get enough screen time, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Tepig had it the worst. 'Cause he had his mouth taped.
Was Cyndaquil abandoned?
No,
No.
Cyndaquil's the only one that
He was
was. He didn't know how to use his fire.
Yeah, he was literally weak. Like he got clapped by a Caterpie.
Yeah, I think except for Cyndaquil.
Speaking
all
of being
had a
clapped by a Caterpie,
next movie. fuck you, Pincer. Anyway, but yeah, so I enjoyed this plateau stuff because it added more character to Mr. Grumpy Volcanion the entire time. I really enjoyed it.
That was the part that turned it around for me because he was like, I don't trust you, but they're happy now. And before they get attached to you,
You have to go.
you have to go because like I'm like, all right, so he's like that's where he's being like the mature. Like I could just keep them around, but it would be irresponsible for them to just get attached and then just leave.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I enjoyed that part.
So
Go ahead.
it was interesting with the plateau because they showed like the little Pokemon, Litleos and stuff like that. Like it was Volcanion with a bunch of babies.
And then Watchog.
And then Watchog, and then fucking Chestnut came out of nowhere. I'm like,
Curlia.
I'm like, where were y'all?
Yeah.
So,
like,
I
Curly
know-
popped to the tree, but I
know
think
you
it
hate
was
this
really
reference.
attacked.
I know you hate these references, but I know you too. Possibly you.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time.
So Ash talking with Volcanion, I got the feeling of like, you know when Naruto talks to every villain ever and tries to talk them down?
Yeah.
That's what I got from here, but it got interrupted.
Yeah.
Because it felt like Ash was doing the whole like, humans are not so bad, and like, for part of it, in my mind, I can hear that fucking flute playing when Naruto starts
Yeah.
doing the talking to a villain. That's what this felt like to me, and it was kind of, I wish they would have extended that scene of Ash basically, because like Danny said, Ash could have talked about, Ash could have talked about Chimchar, he could have talked about
Yeah, any of his Pokemon that he found abandoned.
and I think this would have been it. So that
Sorry.
scene,
Let's make sure
extending
Naruto
by a
stuff is
little
over.
bit, extending that scene by a little bit would have helped a little bit.
I think there's a very interesting moment at this point in the movie where Volcanion says all humans lie and Pokemon aren't like that. And then Pikachu jumps up and is like says something, and then Volcanion like pauses for a moment, and instead of saying "you're a liar," he says something completely different.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was an interesting way of choosing some words there, which that highlighted that as one of like really cool like character moments of the movie. And there's something that should have happened way later that probably would have sent this movie through the roof for me.
Okay.
In terms of the height of the action. I'm not sure if we want to get into that right now.
We can,
But,
but with the liar thing. So I
Yeah.
thought this had like two really good like reflective moments where, hey, Pokemon can't lie. So Pikachu's like, cool, I'm not lying. Ash is a good dude. And that you were saying like Volcanion's like,
He just pulled a reverse.
I guess I did just say that, huh?
He went.
But then they kind of do it later with Volcanion when he's like about to die and like sacrifice himself to blow up the ship. Where he's like, yeah, I'll take you guys to safety and then we'll go. And I guess you can argue that it's lying. But he's like, save the kids and then go back inside to blow myself up so we can destroy the ship. Would be like,
'cause I
Pokemon
guess-
can't
'cause
lie.
I
It's
guess-
more misdirection than anything.
Because I guess the logic there at the end was, as long as I get them on the ship to go, I fulfill my end. I said I would bring them there.
Yeah.
By me sacrificing myself and taking out this thing that would prevent them, I'm fulfilling that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
It's
it's
not
a
the
nice
last
emotional
promise,
part.
which that's the part that actually annoyed me the most, because I hate the most when movies do like the whole like Armageddon bit of I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and then like you go through like this moment and then it's like, oh hey, they didn't die. I'm like, all right, so the stakes were like immediately lowered and their sacrifice was kind
Well,
of.
he almost died.
So
He walked in and then
the way to
died.
counter
And
that
then
is
Wow.
don't
It's
have
shaman
them die, just
flowers.
have them extremely hurt.
Right.
This
the
summer-
quesadilla flowers.
A lot of movies will do the thing where they won't kill the person. They'll just extremely hurt, cripple them. How to Train Your Dragon when they took Hiccup's leg, pretty much. Was his leg?
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. Like,
When he lost his leg, like that's a good way of showing like he didn't die because of luck, but now he's injured.
Right.
But movies do a lot of the fake death. Is Lucario the only other Pokemon that sacrificed himself? Other than Volcanion?
Darkrai,
Latios.
but Darkrai comes back.
Darkrai did come back.
Latios.
Yeah,
Pikachu
Latios.
gets
yeah.
stoned
He was the
but
first
comes
one,
back.
right?
Latios would have been the first one to sacrifice himself, yeah.
And actually doesn't come back in any
Yeah.
way. shape,
Unless you
or
want to count Entei, but that's a weird one.
form. Entei didn't really exist.
Yeah. So yeah, Latios, Lucario. I think that's
they
Jirachi went back to
Okay,
sleep.
so they done it before.
Yeah.
Because the only one I could thought of at the time was Lucario. I completely forgot about Heroes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes,
go-
okay, you're
going
saying.
back, that similar situation. But how I took that is more so for the fact that Ash says the line of, well, you said you're so powerful, you can level a mountain, so we don't need to stay here and blow this up. And Volcanion's like, you're right, I did say that. I think what would have made this moment better for me is as he's blowing up the factory, instead of necessarily saying, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you, Magearna, I think I personally would have enjoyed the line, I guess humans and Pokemon, we aren't all that different.
Same.
So it would
Because
have
same.
You too with
Because-
fatal consequences.
I was just
Because-
gonna say that, yeah.
Because my allusion to what Volcanion was, I think, thinking at the time was the fact that, oh, I may have lied to that kid and said I was powerful enough to level a mountain.
Right.
I'm not powerful enough to destroy this fortress without being here. And I personally would have enjoyed that because Ash then later on says, you lied to me. And I think that would have connected the dots to what Volcanion was talking about
I
inside
like that a
the
lot
castle.
more. I like that a lot more.
And then, as you were bringing up earlier, I think I personally wouldn't have liked Volcanion just kind of waltzing up at the end and being like, hey guys. I think I would have appreciated it more if the steam came out and they found him cratered somewhere.
Yeah.
And then they kind of had to
He
go.
was frozen
They,
again.
they have to go through the.
What happened to you?
I'm okay with him living because there's plenty of Pokemon, or even like, I forgot to look this up if Magearna has a healing ability.
It looked like she was using aromatherapy.
But we've had plenty of Pokemon do that at the end of movies too, where Shaman brought back Giratina. So I think that would have went over well a little better for me.
I think, and I don't know if you'll agree with this. I think the problem that I had with this movie, now that we're talking more about it, and we're doing a lot of what if scenarios, is that a lot of the stuff that happened in this movie has already happened in other movies.
Yeah.
So like a lot of even like the simpler plots throughout the whole movie are being repeated from things that we saw in the past. I think that's why, because certain things that happened here were more impactful. Like I think Lucario, even though I didn't like the movie, I think Lucario's sacrifice was way better than this one right here.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that point a couple movies ago, was that we're seeing a lot of repeated themes now, and it's kind of getting fatiguing because it's like, how many times are we just going to watch the same movie?
Yeah. At least Lucario's came with real stakes. I think if Volcanion had died, I think it probably would have been significantly better in terms
And
of
then
the
you
impact for the
carve
movie.
his visage where the fucking ring tree is, and the ring tree matters.
Yeah, because even like, because that's why I asked the sacrifice thing. Because the first thing that came to mind was Lucario. I completely forgot about every other movie. But like, I remember watching this going like, yeah, Lucario felt more special. And not because he died, but because it's already happened. So I think that when you watch something a second time, it just feels weird. And I actually forgot it happened multiple times. For some reason, Lucario is the only one I remember. If I would have remembered all the other ones, I probably would have liked this movie less.
Yeah.
But I was watching. But it's not just that. It's multiple different plots throughout the whole movie that are repeated.
I feel almost dark wanting it that way, but like at the end when he like recollapses and he's dead, and then Magearna pulls out the flowers, I thought he was gonna actually die.
I thought he was dead, yeah.
And she'd be like, come on, come on, and then it's like,
Because that would have been more fitting of an ending, because it would have been like the ultimate sacrifice. But I
And
mean,
then
like, I
Magearna
get
had a
it.
purpose.
I get it, kids movie, but like
Well,
you can't necessarily say that though.
Listen,
with some of the evidence in the next movie.
we
you
just
can't
watched
say that.
Yveltal destroy a father
That's
and a
true.
daughter inside of an airship.
That's also true.
No,
They
but
come
I-
But
back.
they didn't die. They got better.
They fell from the sky. And
They got better.
I think the issue it ultimately comes down to is, are you okay with ending your movie like this?
Yeah.
With some of the other instances aside from Heroes, but even Heroes and Lucario have triumphant moments. With Volcanion dying at the end, it's just, part of me is wondering how you spin that positively.
That reminds me, I
So
forgot.
it's because
that we-
there's no alternative plot. Like if there's like if Volcanion's death would have revealed something that Magearna was hiding or somebody was hiding. Or
It would have just given Magearna a purpose to
Yeah.
help the abandoned Pokemon.
So like basically, you need to give somebody like most of the time when you have an important character like this, the character that picks up the will or whatever needs to have an alternative like path, and I think that this didn't have that, and I think that would have helped a lot.
Yeah, with the reoccurring themes and like cliche ideas, I think at this point in them, it's did they do it better than the other movies who have done it, or did they do it worse? And I think a lot of these have done it in some respects worse and in some respects better. Like I think the Flying City here made a little bit more sense than Black and White, because Black and White they just kind of like, whoop, we're up here now.
Pick up
like,
sword and go sky go.
Yeah. This one it was like.
We're gonna spin it around, put
Yeah.
it back in it.
And this one's like, it's a whole fucking like mechanical city that has a power source that can now make it fly, which made more sense than just magic dragon sword go like it, yeah. But then
and we got explanation to it
sacrifice.
because it was what is it, Nicola?
Yeah, Nicola.
He wanted to build it as a way to protect the city, but then he realized that the city was just imploding in on itself because of the power that he made. So he's like, yeah, we can't do this. Magearna, fuck off.
But yeah,
But that made sense to me.
then there's the whole sacrifice thing where there are other movies that have done it better because it made the stakes real with Latios and then Lucario. Not really Celebi. Celebi does die. but
Celebi
he's-
just got fucked. Celebi didn't
yeah,
sacrifice.
Right.
The one thing this movie I liked was the way that they linked Volcanion and Ash together.
It's
Like,
cool.
that wasn't planned at all. It was just, it happened.
And the thing is, like, I forgot about the second one that he stepped on, and when it connected to Ash, I'm like, I have questions because there was a chunk of ice left when they knocked him off the ship, which I would have assumed had the other one, but I'll accept it, like, for the fact that it's possible that it blew off of him. But ultimately, like I said, fun movie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. It wasn't like I started this movie and was like god awful and just hated it the whole way through. It's just like while I was watching it, I remember you guys saying that it's like a pretty good one, and it's not one that pained me. It's not Manaphy for me. It's not other.
I think Manaphy's perfect.
It's not like
It's got Kyogre.
Jirachi wasn't terrible, but Jirachi, like after the first like 20 minutes and neglecting like the last 20 minutes, there's a lot in there that I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to watch this. And this movie, I was like, I'm okay watching this, but like get to the point.
Yeah.
And when they did get to the point, sometimes I was like, did you really give me what I needed to see though, or did you just kind of
Wrap it up.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
sloppily tied bow.
Right, yeah. Because, like I said, Magearna never really, like, they explain what it can do, but they never explain how. They never explain, like, the full extent. Because
The soul heart connive.
They
Right.
never explained that, and then out of nowhere, it's like.
Yeah, because I was hella confused when he just, like, opened up its chest, and I was like, so you can just choose to kill and revive this Pokemon
So
as
after the
you want?
movie, I went and looked up Soul Heart Explained on YouTube.
You just found Gen 2 remakes.
And
Telling the plot.
This is how they connect to the
That-
Well, I
Kingdom
had-
Hearts story.
That's its ability.
I had to find
Is it?
I had to find somebody
Soul
like
Heart
another
is the
YouTuber.
ability.
Weird.
What's it? What is the
Use it.
ability? What is soul heart?
Pretty much if the Pokemon is injured, it's going to do whatever it can to help. Which
What does that translate to?
I think it's like if you have like status conditions, because like,
I think it
you have
heals
like
it,
a
doesn't
huge like
Yeah.
Doesn't it
I
heal
saw you were
sickness?
trying to get something out there, Chris. I don't know
yeah,
what
because
you
like
had to.
no. So the thing I was going to mention is complete. It's like a different
Okay.
part of the movie that
I think it heals it because I remember people using it in Smogon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double
so.
battles.
Oh, okay. So Soul Heart raises the user's special attack
That's
by
what it
one
is.
stage every time another Pokemon faints. So it gets
Oh, shit.
stronger, so that way it can defend.
So is that a double battle or like as long as it's in the party?
Realistically, it's going to be better in doubles because that's when you're going to have another Pokemon on the field.
So if I'm doing singles, if I bring Magearna out and then swap,
You're not going
and
to
then
get
okay,
value
so
out of it because it has to be on the field
Yeah.
because that's when the ability procs.
Damn right, because people were using.
That's what I thought. I just didn't know. It just sounded.
Protect, self-destruct.
Yeah, protect
Exactly.
self-destruct or not parting shot, whichever the one is that you sacrifice all your health.
Memento?
Memento, yeah.
Beat 'em up.
But yeah, the thing I was going to say was so the thing I really enjoyed was how they utilized Meowth in this, and when he
Yeah.
was bawling because
I
he
can't
could
hear
hear
Magearna.
Magearna cry, and then he pulls like the WandaVision stuff. I started feeling really bad because I'm like, Meowth is just hearing this and he's just crying the whole fucking time. And this guy's like, I'm using you to tell when I can utilize the power of Magearna. I'm like,
Mean look.
fuck.
I just look. I heard you. I just when you made the WandaVision comparison, I imagine Meowth like walking down the stairs in like the Halloween costume, like
Slutty me alfalfa.
the same. Oif.
Fan art Meowth is on this costume.
So other thing, we pretty much covered all like my like thoughts. I'm like, yeah, the plot for the Soul Heart could have made like a front stage appearance, like make sense of what exactly it was. I had like what Alva's like beef was, like why was he
Yes.
trying to blow up the
Why?
plateau?
That was the thing I was gonna ask, cause like did anybody get like a
No.
clear "this is what I'm doing"? Because I feel like
I hate
missed
grass.
Yeah, I had no idea what his intention was,
I
other
think
than I need to
Alva's-
make City Fly and shoot lasers.
Yeah.
And it was
The
why?
whole Alba thing, which is not solid, it's not a solid reason, but he recognized that Magearna, I think Meowth said Magearna's still in there, and he's like, oh, well, what's the best way of breaking a Pokemon but destroying what it loves? And then he aimed at the plateau at that point. It's not it's not a solid reason.
So it explains why he shot the plateau. I guess it just doesn't really, unless it's a power hunger thing, why he did any of it in the first place.
But
That's the thing though, he is just power hungry.
Yeah.
He's a simple villain.
Yeah,
But
cause
Kodai?
The Bacher guy?
Bacher guy, he pulls it off way better.
Koda, yeah.
In my
So-
opinion.
Kodai.
I don't remember Clarence. Or
Lawrence, yeah.
What's his actual name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
We called him Clarence
I
in the
know,
bit.
yeah.
It's his second
What was
cousin,
his
yeah.
motive?
he
The
was
collection.
a legendary Pokemon collector.
He liked to collect shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think Alva, like, as soon as we saw Alva and the Gengar, like, he's the bad guy. And then when they break the staff and we reveal that Gengar is not a bad guy, he's just
That was
mentally
that was
screwed.
pretty funny.
I was hoping all the Mega Pokemon that were fine, like, they snapped out of it, like, all right, we live in the plateau now, like, that's where we go.
I did like he's like Gengar and he's like, oh no.
Nope.
Just like dips, yeah. I did like that. I liked sassy,
I'm a ghost.
scared Gengar. Yeah. I'm going ghost. Yeah, he's fucking like
Yeah, it was great. The only other thing and I don't think I explained in the movie, like, Magearna's colors.
So
What's-
that is a distribution event thing because
So
I had to
I
look it
know
up.
that.
Yeah, that's original form Magearna. I don't know why they change.
Yeah, 'cause
If I had to guess, it's like a tarnish thing. Like they wore
That's-
out.
that's my
That
only-
was my
The
opinion.
Pokemon one, he You have to have your entire Pokédex completed to get the Pokeball.
Which, by the way, the shiny Pokeball one is an Ultra Ball.
Is it?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
the dress is
shiny
an Ultra
Magearna.
Ball.
I would have
That's pretty
imagined
cool.
like a
Oh, I
Master
don't
Ball, but
have
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
I have regular one and I have
The white, black, and gold on it though looks fucking sick. It looks really good.
How do you get the shiny form of that?
I don't know.
Shiny Hunter.
So I have the
It's
one.
probably
that-
shiny. Like it's probably like you can't actually get it. If everyone has it, it's fake.
I have the one that you get for completing home,
Okay.
which is the Pokeball one, and then I have the regular one. And then, is there another one? Is there?
I think there's only
one by
two.
chance?
The regular one's pink. There's a pink, there's a shiny one that's silver of Magearna, and then there's the Pokeball, and then the Ultra Ball.
Okay, so the Pokeball is a separate. You can't turn a regular Magearna into Pokeball.
I don't think so, no.
No.
It's a separate
The
Magearna.
Pokeball one, you have to have your Pokédex completed.
It's like how they had
It's
that,
like-
the Vivian or whatever, with like all the different patterns
Yeah,
and stuff.
there's a
Yeah.
That's like a
Pokeball
regional
one.
whatever. Yeah.
There's the bunch of Pikachus with different generation of Ash hats.
Yeah. I guess they just like when they showed Magearna present in the movie, it was base Magearna. And
Yeah.
then flashbacks, it was Pokeball. And then I thought it was going to become an ancestral thing. Like this was like the kid Magearna. And I was like, I don't know how it's going to
Yeah, it was
transition.
This guy's like
weird.
kind of like
or-
paint
It's-
flaking off.
yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like a paint job or the tarnish because there's one of the flashbacks specifically that has a half and half.
Okay. I didn't see
So
that.
there's like the top half is the tarnished, and then the bottom half is still like the red Pokeball.
Was it
Okay.
was it like perfect? Or was it like you can tell that it's been flaking off?
In all honesty, it was a very brief flashback because there was one flashback with her in the plateau, it in the plateau, with the Pokeball
You just assume it's
design.
gender.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
I
I'm
apologize.
sure Volcanion called it her, right?
No,
Yeah.
no, Volcanion actually calls it it.
Ooh.
Um,
My bad,
So
Magearna. I'm sorry
Volcanion
for assuming.
misgendered.
but there's a flashback where Volcanion and Magearna meet, and Magearna's in the Pokeball attire.
Okay.
And then it flashes forward a little bit in that flashback, and then the top half is the tarnished part, while the bottom half it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
But it's like a perfect version, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's not like where we get to see the paint kind of chipping
Yeah.
off. It's just the bottom half is the old version, while the top half's the tarnished.
Okay. By the way, stupid as GIF, you can't use it, by the way.
Yeah.
When you finish home, you can't transfer him to
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield, so it's like a stupid GIF.
Oh, because he's not in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Because they added all the legendaries, not all the mythicals.
That's fucking dumb.
yeah, so like
That's
you get the
pretty
GIF, you get the GIF, and then like nothing happens, and I'm like,
Gen 4 remakes, baby. It's coming.
That's why
I can smell it.
That's why I'm really hoping with the Gen 4 remakes, all of the Pokemon become accessible because we have a new meta with no gimmicks, no bullshit. We just get straight up gameplay.
Smell it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Magearna.
If you throw in Megas in there, it has a gimmick.
Oh my
you
god!
know the scene of Thanos
They
throwing the
added
last
in-
stone and going. That would be me if they add all the Pokemon for the next one.
Listen, they either need, if we're doing Megas again, I've rambled about it, like the vision of see the starters, black silhouettes, mega animation, don't show me the Megas. Be like, it's coming. Or do it with Garchomp. Just tell me that either one, the starters or Garchomp are getting the Mega.
Cynthia
have
walks
mercy
out and
on
Mega
the
Garchomp
dust.
behind her. I'm losing my absolute shit over that.
I'm just saying, Sylphia has a Pokemon that Mega evolves instead of Megas. Lord have mercy, please, fucking make it happen. I know it's Garchomp and Garchomp's Mega Evolution is ass,
Yeah.
but
It
it's
looks
still,
cool.
it's
It's cool.
Cynthia.
It looks cool. It just sucks
It sucks.
because I'd rather take
Life Orb.
base.
Yeah, Life Orb of Garchomp is better than the Mega Evolution.
Can I
Tries.
just hummed a Pokemon theme and I was like, oh, and that reminded me. I wish these movies would rely on some of the soundtracks for the game a little more.
Yeah.
Because there's a particular point in this movie where they play the battle theme, I think it is, for X and Y, where it's like dun 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 dun,
That's
dun,
something
and it's
I
so
keep-
hype.
That's
Yeah.
something I keep mentioning and bring up because I like how they utilize the X and Y soundtrack.
But I think it's only like once or twice in this movie, and then the rest of the like soundtrack to me for this particular movie is forgettable. So,
So if they do a Gen 8 movie and they don't use the Gym Leader theme,
if they do a Gen 8 movie and they don't use the gym leader theme, I am going to riot.
I hope.
I need to like.
Dude, I
Yeah, I need that so bad in a movie.
I just want there to be like one bit of when they do that of just like some guy trying to sleep and then he just like rolls over. He's like, God, what the fuck?
Leon
Good morning,
again.
and then he just like rolls over.
Dude,
Leon, shut
I
up.
cannot.
if they do a movie on the wolves and they put that stupid fucking theme song. I
like
fucking
that
hated
song.
that.
I like that
song.
song.
I muted that shit.
I don't look. If they give me that and not the gym, I'll be pissed.
Yeah.
But like if they put that song in the movie, I wouldn't be upset. Like I just imagine like Ash and crew walking into town, whoever the crew will be, if it's Go or whatever, and we just see like the edge of the shield and like the foot over a cliff, like and we just hear like the. Oh.
It's gonna be Action Dawn.
I
back.
absolutely love the gym leader theme for Gen 8 so much. The day after it came out, I had off work. I like made sure I requested off, and me.
Didn't even play the game. I
My
just put the
friend
music
and
on.
like 3 other people were just in Panera, and we're just like,
So, yeah,
we're just sitting there like doing that, and people are just like, y'all
So
good?
Gen 9 is gonna be such a letdown
Yeah.
because Gen 8 just went above and beyond with the gym leader thing.
So I will say this: I started going to the gym, and I was listening to X Gonna Give It to You while working out. And then it goes into the gym leader theme. There's no song in anime, right? And I have a lot of the One Piece theme songs, a lot of My Hero like theme songs. Nothing hypes me up when I'm in the gym now than the gym leader theme song.
So
that
good.
and Marty's theme song is fucking sacred.
Marnie's, Pierce, and Bed, they're all really
the
good.
whole Gen 8, say what
Rohan?
say what you want about the game, but the soundtrack for Gen 8 is
Pretty
pretty
it's
damn
amazing.
solid.
Yeah,
Rohan's
Very
like
solid.
animations when he goes for the Gigantamax, where he fucking takes the
selfie,
toxic selfie.
He throws the fucking phone. And he's
Yeah.
Yeah, he puts his Rotom phone up and he's like, and then throws the phone. I was like, yes, dude. And then he goes all goblin mode and he's like,
Have you got?
Love
since we're
Rohan,
speaking of
dude.
Dynamax
Just do me a
animations,
favor and don't mention Raihan
why?
because
Oh, he bodies the hell out of me.
my Sylveon did not appreciate
Yeah,
it.
he
Fucking
bodied
bad
the
steel
fuck
spikes.
It's just a clip we have in our death montage where he's like looking at Sylvan and he's like, yeah, Duraludon's a dragon. Wait. Steel spike, and then it's like dun 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 dun, and then as the steel spike's about to hit, dun, 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 and he's just getting danced around.
Dude,
the coffin.
I was a because I knew he was a steel dragon. It's another like one of those I knew the typings and then
Steel
just,
spike.
I didn't think it had an offensive move because when I was looking at it, I'd like the damage, like it had its move list. I'm like, okay, it's nothing I should be scared of. It's got like 2 physical dragon moves. As I see Max Steel Spike look over, I'm like, oh, fuck, I made a mistake.
The
So-
expression is like,
While we're just on Sun and Moon real quick, I like breezed through that game except for Nissa, Raihan, and the final Leon fight tripped me up for like one of his Pokemon. But when I got to Raihan, he almost just absolutely bodied me.
Yeah.
I got saved by like a
So you
single
know why
Pokemon.
Raihan bodied me? Because everybody was single battles, and this motherfucker
Yeah, it was
went
double,
battle.
yeah.
And my team, it's just a story team. That shit ain't set up for
Yeah.
double battle, and
Yeah.
he claps.
Well, what makes it even worse though is the fact that it's like they kind of give you a little bit of like, okay, so here's some double battles against some fodder trainers, right?
Yeah.
And then Raihan comes out, and is like, oh yeah, I don't just have dragons, by the way.
That pissed me off the most.
I don't just
spec
have
around
dragons.
dragons, and he's like, hey, here's grounds, and I'm like, you're a lying son of a bitch.
Here's a Gigalith with Sandstream. Oh, okay.
So in
Alright.
this game, they make Leon harder because they boost the stats of his Pokemon, right? Which is why his battle felt so amazing.
Is that why?
fucking-
Is that
yeah.
why? I was also
Stealth
caught,
rock.
I was also
Stealth
caught off.
Stealth rock,
I was
yeah.
caught by surprise when I was like, I thought I was decently like ahead in terms of levels. I was like, yeah, I faced Rose, and I was like, I'm like 10 levels ahead of him. I should be
Somebody-
okay. And then Leon's like, oh, he's my level? Wait a minute, what?
So not only is his stats in hand, somebody actually captured his Pokemon using like the hacks. They have perfect IVs.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Perfect.
So if they don't do that for Cynthia,
Oh yeah, and Charizard has like all
they
his
fucked
Pokemon
up.
have.
I need my
Queen.
cheeks clapped by Cynthia.
yes, queen.
Okay.
Gen 8's awesome, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah,
but what's
yeah.
probably a good
Dragon
idea
Ball,
is to
Dragon
rank this movie.
Yeah.
Tangents.
But yeah, so now we'll decide where we think it goes. But first, as always, I have to review the list. Starting at number 19, we have Pokemon Black and White. Number 18, Pokemon Mewtwo Returns. Number 17, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. Number 16, Pokemon 2000. Number 15, Pokemon Forever. Number 14, Genesect and the Legend Awakened. 13, Jirachi Wishmaker. 12, Kirim versus the Sword of Justice. 11, Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction. 10, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. 9, Pokemon 3, Spell the Unknown. Number 8, Pokemon Heroes. Number 7, Zoroark Master of Illusions. Number 6, Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Number 5, Pokemon the First Movie. Number 4, Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. Number 3, Giratina and the Sky Warrior. Number 2, Destiny Deoxys. And number 1, Rise of Darkrai. Does anybody have a solid feeling of where they believe this movie belongs?
This
Yes.
goes right. This becomes number 12.
So under Diancie, above
Yeah.
Kiro.
Yeah.
Okay.
This goes under Genesect for me.
I enjoy this more than I did the Keldeo movie.
I agree with that.
I personally put this above Diancie and below Lucario.
I think that's where I was at with it.
Yeah.
I generally like this movie, and I can't necessarily fault it for much. So I think that's where it would be.
So no, does anybody here put it above?
I don't think it goes
Oh, no,
above Lucario.
You said you put it below Lucario.
Below.
Okay, does anybody here put it higher than Lucario?
No, I don't think so.
See, my only problem with the movie is that the whole movie feels recycled. It's just a bunch of the past movies. Nothing in this movie felt new, which
Yeah.
was my problem with it. But I still enjoyed it more than some of these.
Yeah. I think it, for me, aside from just not hating a lot of the things are just kind of dumb, I think just having the Megas on screen, fake, real, whatever, visually the badass. And I think Volcanion as the random mythical that just kind of came out and didn't really have any like super heavy game like relevance.
Right.
Having a movie and having like that moment of to shine, I'm like, Volcanion's actually pretty fucking cool. And even now, like, can you get Volcanion in Sword and Shield?
He's
I didn't think so.
He was a distribution event for a limited time in X and Y.
Yeah. But
If you
so
did not
but
get
he's
him
not
then,
in.
You cannot get him in a game.
I got him.
But his data's not in. Is he? He's not national Dex, whatever. He's not in Sword and Shield though, right?
No.
If I have him, I can't transfer him.
No, he's
Yeah.
considered a mythical. So
Yeah, so that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
the neat tie-in I think is when you download Volcanion, he actually is from this plateau in terms of
Oh, that's so cute.
where you get him from.
I think Sarah Orr is the only one from that whole set. I know he's not from
Sure.
that set,
Yeah,
but he
hear you.
came out in that weird where the gen ended. And
Between Gen.
Sarah
7
Orr,
and
I think
8.
it's the only mythical that made it to the next
So-
game.
Sword and Shield.
Sarah Orr came out and then we got him in Sword and Shield.
Is Melmetal a mythical? No. What's Melmetal's beef?
Melmetal is not a mythical, but he's also not an Ultra Beast. It's kind of weird because
He's even in between generations. Like
Yeah.
if you look at the
There's no
Pokemon
gen.
in terms of generations,
doesn't
he
belong
doesn't
to
have
a
a
gen,
generation.
yeah.
Kang the Conqueror's just coming in and fuck up Pokemon in a minute.
so he's essentially a
Metal
Ultra
boost.
Beast. He's essentially an Ultra Beast, but none of his lore has to do with him coming
Yeah.
out of a wormhole. He just shows up.
Fuck
And
it.
he also has a Dynamax, so
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
or a Gigantamax.
Well, I guess it's not a bad place to start voting then.
But he's
So
fucking swole.
let's jump up a little bit. So I guess if it's above 2000, so at the new number 16, above Forever, above Genesect, above Jirachi, above Kirin,
Go ahead, Kim. Yeah, sorry.
above Diancie, above Lucario.
Okay, hold on. I forgot that it was that Jirachi was above
Genesect?
Genesect.
Correct.
So I would have. What was above Jirachi?
Yeah, Kirin.
Kyurem. Okay, I would put it between Kyurem and Jirachi then.
Okay, so it'd be 13 for you.
13 for
But
me.
based on majority, it falls right
Right.
underneath Lucario, so it'll be the new number 11.
Okay.
So
I'm okay
ding.
with that.
I'm
That-
fine with it being
I
mid tier.
hated Lucario.
I didn't want it in the top 10,
I understand. Okay.
so I'm perfectly fine with it as long as it's under 10.
Everybody change your vote. Just kidding.
I want to put it above Lucario.
I say this now for the sake of this movie being included, but I feel like our top movies are pretty secure.
I just
I think Detective Pikachu, I think, is the only one that stands a chance.
So
to
right
make the top
now,
five.
I think, yeah,
sorry.
no, you're fine.
I want to be sure of something. Lucario's at the top, right?
Oh, you're right. I forgot. Speaking of this week, there was a leak that Pokemon Unite, Lucario's getting a Sir Aaron skin, which voids all votes, and Lucario is at the top. So I
Right.
forgot.
So that puts this movie at
That's-
number 2.
All right, so now starting from the top, we have Lucario, the Mystery of Mew. Number 2, we have
Hey guys, it's been fun.
gonna go
That's
cry in the
hilarious.
The integrity of the podcast has been compromised due to.
Due to Pokemon
Bro,
Unite,
that's
just
happened
fucking
too
up
much.
everything.
I think we all have experience when a movie made it higher than it needed to. And you just have to sit there and eat shit as Danny's bringing the list.
I cannot wait for you all to stare at me for where I rank the next one. I cannot wait for it. I can guarantee.
Yeah, I heard it. I think you guys weren't here. I heard Kanai's.
I think Dante Zoda wasn't here. I think we were all here. 'Cause I heard
I
you
heard
both said
Kanai's
we-
next
yeah.
one, and it's fucking controversial for me.
I told you. I think I am the one
But
with the weird picks.
when I was
this
at
week.
home, I thought I was gonna have the controversial vote for that next one. But
Yeah, you two told me, you literal polar opposites where you think I choose you. But we'll do that in about 15 minutes while you guys have to wait a week. But
got him.
the new ranking list looks like this. We have 20 listed, which means we have 6 more to go. We have number 20, Black and White. 19, Mewtwo Returns. 18, Ranger. Number 17, 2000. 16, Forever. 15, Genesect. 14, Jirachi. 13, Kyurem. 12, Diancie. 11, Volcanion. 10, Lucario. 9, Spell the Unknown. 8, Heroes. 7, Zoroark. 6, Arceus. 5, the first movie. 4, Hoopa. 3, Giratina. 2, Destiny Deoxys. And number 1, Rise of Darkrai. Man. Even if, like I said, we talk about like, maybe Detective Pikachu breaks the top 5. Having none of us really seen Coco and what that is going to be like, if that even, what's going to be.
I'm gonna be sad if Spell the Unknown gets knocked out of at least the top 10.
He's hanging in there. He's number 9. He
I
wants
know, he's only got 2 more
If I'm being
spaces.
honest, Dante, unless Detective Pikachu, I think Detective Pikachu will break the top 5. However,
I guarantee Detective Pikachu should be top 10.
I think it's top 5.
I can say top 10 guaranteed.
I-
I can't say top 5.
I think it'll be top 5, but as far as like guarantee, I think I can almost guarantee it'll be top 10.
Can I
for sure.
see it with you because I don't want to see your reaction because you haven't seen it. You're the only one that
I
hasn't.
have not seen Detective Pikachu.
I want to see that with you.
I also prior have not seen I Choose You or this movie. After Hoopa, I have not seen anything of any of the movies.
So I think Spell the Unknown will
Discord
stay
party,
Dante,
baby.
because I think that Detective Pikachu will make it to at least top 10. I swear to God, the movie that comes out after I Choose You,
Power of Us.
yeah, is that the one Star Aura,
Yes.
Yes.
has a snowball chance of being in the top 10. And
I
do not
think I agree. But I've only seen that once a long time ago.
I did too.
And that's because Evan wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
Is that Lugia in it?
Lugia and Zeraora, yep.
Okay.
I
That-
saw
yeah.
it and I was like, okay. I saw it and I didn't enjoy it.
Is their whole new thing like back in time mythical with old legendary? Is that like the new movie formula?
So they're
I don't
doing
really
that
know.
in anime.
They've only done 2 of them.
Okay.
They haven't done like a 3 remake or whatever.
Okay.
Like Evan had told me this was 2000, which made me really excited. And seeing Lugia was cool, but it's not a 2000 remake. It's Ash meets new friend. She's never caught a Pokemon. Disaster takes over. I don't even remember like what the issue is. But then Zeraora's losing his beef. Lugia shows up to be cool and stuff. There's a bunch of extra characters that show up, but I remember being like colorful and enjoyable. But I couldn't tell you names, who they're part of.
Now,
Pokemon or anything.
animation-wise, I think that's the best one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Speaking of Pokemon Poll Challenge.
Absolutely, Pokemon Poll Challenge, baby! Every week we take a Pokemon that appeared in this movie and we throw them into a little poll. As of right now, give me a
chooses
second.
first? Is it me?
John chooses first.
Oh, thank God. Because it would be wasted again.
Let me see, Poll Challenge. I'm pretty sure the
My
results
bad,
were
my bad.
finalized, but
I just gotta stretch sometimes.
right now for Genesect and the Legend Awakened, the point goes to Jonathan with Houndoom. What the fuck?
So I had 4
Dogs,
votes.
cats, and bugs.
So I had
That's
4
what I'm learning.
votes, and I stayed at 4 votes since you first placed this. And today,
I'm gonna rage because every time we do these votes, there's just a whole bunch of people that just randomly show up and then don't show up again.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
So I watched it this morning, and I was like, I have 4 votes. That is not enough. By the time we make it to the shoot, this is going to drastically change.
If you hit over
Like,
3,
what about the
you're
one
probably
week
safe.
that Lucario got 9?
Yeah, I love it.
What's the highest points that votes? I know it's in the teens.
It was up
when you first
there.
started coming out.
It was up there.
But is this also the vote that Chris, you voted for Alligator? I was like, why is he? What?
So I think it's a little messy in terms of the placement of the reaction because normally I say add everyone and then I add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Poyo jumped in there and added a reaction for like the third Pokemon before I put the second. So now it shows like you're voting for 1, 3, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah, because that threw me off initially. Because I was gonna vote. I'm like, wait, that's not my spot.
Yeah, so
That's not Seawise.
thanks, Poyo, you fucked it
So
up.
do you always put people in the same lane? Because I'm always the last
do.
one. Okay,
Yes.
do you keep that consistent every time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually forgot my pick. So I had to go back and
Yeah.
watch. But
Yeah, so I always, in the image, you were always in the same spot of the
do
5.
you guys remember why I picked Houndoom? I feel like,
You didn't. He took for alligator.
okay,
He took Sableye.
okay, that makes sense.
Well, actually,
I had
you
Chansey.
took for alligator.
You took for alligator.
You took Sableye. You took Chansey.
Okay.
And
You
then the
took
bird.
Houndoom. And you're like, I was like, I could take Staraptor, and then you went, Braviary, and then you took Sableye.
Because my whole bit is
okay.
picking my favorite mom.
Because I
Nothing
added that
about
whole
me
thing.
says I would pick Houndoom, so
Yeah.
that's what I was
So you won with Houndoom because I know by default the bit for Soul Link is that Deirdre's Houndoom, so instantly got her vote. I don't know who else voted. I can't
I
see
voted
that.
for myself.
I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
I don't think you
I think
voted.
Gary-
I usually
Did I
vote
not
for.
vote?
The only vote for alligator is me.
I usually vote for 2 to 3
I-
people
I-
if I like
maybe
the
I did it early in
Pokemon.
the
I know
morning.
you're not supposed to
Maybe.
do that, but it's like
Unless it's in the weird spot
Like
of-
when you picked
I
Arcanine,
could have swore I voted.
Arcanine's
I like
great.
Arcanine.
Arcanine's great.
because Danny's like, stop voting for multiple people. I
It
was
looks like you did, so it's the weird mishap of
Oh,
the
yeah,
eyes are under for alligator, so you voted for.
Oh yeah, so I voted for Sableye.
You voted
but
for
it should be
Sableye,
for-
but it's yeah.
Because I saw
I
Danny
got
vote.
Dante's vote.
I saw
I
Danny
just see the
vote.
numbers change.
When we first started, I saw Danny voting for everybody, so I was like, oh, I'll vote for
That's why Chris was under my.
I was like, oh, I'll vote for everybody too. But then I stopped and I was like, let me vote for whoever has my favorite Pokemon. And then Danny's like, stop voting multiple times, Polio. And I was like,
So I will always, to get it started, so people don't have to get the emote, I just throw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the bottom.
yeah.
And then as the week goes, once everybody has hit 1 vote, I remove all of mine except for my own Pokemon.
See, I always do the thing where I vote for myself. I always vote for myself, and then
Yeah.
whoever has the least points, I vote to entice people
Yeah.
to go.
John cheating. I see.
I know. I feel
Friend
bad
games.
because like you yelled at people. I was like, oh, okay.
So whatever. It's all for fun and memes.
It's all for fun and memes, especially when Zoroark was winning and then Kanai was like, hey everybody,
I was so mad.
votes on Kurt.
Sure. I was so bad because like my votes dropped. I wasn't winning, but I had votes.
Well, John, we explained the poll challenge for about 15 minutes. So who's your Pokemon for this week?
So if I say Mega, are you going to use the Mega version of it?
It's just no one can choose the regular based off of
Correct.
what we talked about last
Yes.
time, right?
So because for
Okay, we
Hoopa,
got
I
some Megas pretty quick. So we have Mega
All of them.
Gengar.
you have a
Pretty
good bit.
practically all of them.
Yeah.
You got
Did
Gengar,
we get
Gardevoir,
Camerupt?
Yes.
Yes.
Camerupt, Sharpedo,
Yep.
Aggron.
Alakazam.
Charizard
Alakazam.
X is
Yeah,
Charizard X is
I'm
in the
going with
beginning.
Mega.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mega Alakazam.
Mega Alakazam.
Yeah, he's my
Okay.
favorite.
I think Mewtwo is like the only Mega that's not in this movie.
And he had his movie.
Wow, that is true. Almost every Mega. No, every Mega was.
Most of them. We
Blastoise
only have
and Venusaur
Swampert.
wasn't- They weren't in the film.
Yeah, we don't have those 2 starters. We
No.
don't have Blaziken.
Swampert was in the film.
Swampert
was
is
there.
there. Sure.
Sceptile wasn't.
Yes.
He was
He,
not.
he flew with a water punch.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
He's there in spirit.
Manectric.
Swampert.
We have like 14 or 15 megas.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I think
I
I think
don't
the
know.
only other
No
thing like
Machamp.
Audino was not. in
No
the movie,
Audino.
So
We had Pidgeot.
That was a weird Mega.
Slowpoke.
Aldino.
Well,
We
Slowpoke.
didn't have Slover.
that would have been great.
That would have been hilarious.
Yes.
Let her.
So I know.
Danny, like, fucking 3/4 of the Pokédex is in the intro.
And there's Greninja.
There is Greninja.
Yeah, like, are
And
you
you
reading
can
that?
use
You're
Ash
not gonna go
Greninja.
Ash Greninja?
That's my debate was Greninja or Ash Greninja. What do I
Ash
do?
Greninja.
Because
Okay,
again,
Do you want to win?
yeah,
Don't pick Ash Greninja.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say,
what I'm thinking.
Ash Greninja, I learned that people don't. I like Ash Greninja. I
Yeah.
found out people don't like Ash Greninja as much as I like it. Because every time I bring it up, people are like, oh.
He's so
Greninja's
cool.
much
See,
better.
the thing is, and I mentioned this to Chris already. We're like, if we had a bigger Pokemon community,
Yeah.
I think this would be a lot easier. Of like, pick the Pokemon that's like meta or whatever. I have a community of people that don't play Pokemon, and the only Pokemon they
Bug.
watch is
Bird.
Soul Link.
Dog.
And the votes are like, ooh, you picked a bug.
Yeah.
And like, you get the vote.
I know it doesn't
Look at
help.
you, Pop.
It also doesn't help if
As
they don't
long as it's
watch
not
the
in the
movie.
incinerator.
Exactly.
Because if they don't watch the movie, then they don't
Yeah.
know why a certain Pokemon.
Because like for,
was chosen.
for
Like
this past
Boldor.
week.
Like Boldor.
Exactly. Like that's a good meme. But
Yeah.
no, if they don't watch the movie and they don't get Boldor, they
Yeah.
don't vote it.
Nobody voted for best sled Boldor, just me.
This past vote for Genesect, I put up the poll and Papa goes, "There's no bug." I'm like, the only bug in this movie you hated because One Night for Soul Link, Papa did a tier list of all the bug Pokemon, and his F tier was called Incinerate. So like, I'm burning these Pokemon. I'm like,
Genesect was in there.
the only one was Genesect. He's like, which one's that? I'm like, Big Purple Robot Man. He's like, oh yeah, don't pick that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with regular Greninja. So Dante.
It was briefly shown for a few seconds in the beginning.
God damn it.
Jigglypuff.
Mega Mawile.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
People like that one.
I like it.
It was quite popular for a
I
while.
like it, and it will be a disservice if I don't pick it.
It was clapping cheeks in the meta for a while.
Good for Mawile.
I didn't
Mega
understand for a long
Kangaskhan's in
time
the
why.
intro too, I think.
Especially with Charizard Y being as rampant as he was.
It's probably just regular Kangaskhan. He just saw the baby had an
He just
expression.
throws the baby.
Dude, honestly, the meta could be summarized by Mega Charizard Y or Mega Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
There was no in between.
Mega Snorlax.
Dude, Mega Kangaskhan was fucking insane.
I told viewers at one point, Chami, if you bring that piece of shit in this fucking
We're
show,
done.
I'm done.
I'm canceling Pokemon.
You're gonna fly Japan Scott director.
Dude,
Well,
Mega Kangaskhan broke me.
Canis.
Growlithe.
Okay.
The double rock slide.
No, there was
There
no
was no
Arcanine.
Arcanine.
No Arcanine.
Just a Growlithe.
Just
Where was
Growlithe.
Growlithe just in the intro?
In the intro. I stared, literally, like my eyes did the chameleon thing where they're like, and I was just like, where is he? Where is he? And it was just like little Growlithe, and I was like, okay, you're my second choice. Where the fuck's the Arcanine? And I was like, nope, there's the Growlithe. Okay, we're
What
good.
about the Braviary?
Nope, Growlithe. Growlithe beats out Braviary.
There you go.
Danny, are you gonna ask me my pick it wasn't chosen?
I don't think your pick was.
Sylveon.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were asking me a question. Okay.
Yeah, no.
But you have to take the picture of it diddling the
So,
lip.
you're the only person who I didn't know their pick today.
If I hadn't seen Growlithe, it was going to be Litleo. And yeah.
I would have gotten that wrong. Because
Yeah.
I knew the second you said it was shown briefly, I was like, God damn it, he's gonna pick Mega Mawile and then Sylveon and Greninja. So this movie was very obvious, but not for you. For me.
I'm curious what you think I'm going to pick for the next movie.
for the next movie.
I think the next movie has a much not a much smaller pool, but
It's got
I
a
thought
pretty
you were
good
gonna-
dice
I'm
selection.
just
I
saying
thought
my
you were gonna
pick
pick
is very
Gengar.
clear.
Huh?
I thought you were gonna pick Gengar.
I like Gengar, but he's never been like, I've never been like, holy shit, a Gengar.
Gengar would have been my second choice.
You know why?
If you had taken
The
Greninja, I was
fucking
gonna-
anime never did anything with Gengar till now.
And Megas aren't a thing anymore, so Ash won't have Mega Gengar.
there's a cool detail I want
You
to
can
talk
tell
about
You can
that mildly connects to Gengar in the next movie,
Or it
but
could
we'll
be
get there in
Ash's
the next
Gengar.
movie.
Cool. Well, just to review real quick because damn, this is going long. Pokemon poll challenge for this week. John has Mega Alakazam. I have Greninja. Dante has Mega Mawile. Kanai with Growlithe, and Chris with Sylveon. Make sure you go over to the CGDannyB community Discord. The link is in the description below. You can join the community. There's a whole tab. All you have to do is select the reaction that goes with the Pokemon you want. This time I'll do everything in my power to make sure that they're lined up properly so we don't have any weird misconfusions. And then results will be on social media next week. And yeah, should be a good time. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Pokemon Gotta Watch Them All, Volcanion. You've heard our thoughts, our opinions. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie, how you enjoyed it. I know most of you click on this series and watch thinking that it's the full movie, and then when you click off, you're like, oh, they're just talking about the movie. But if you hung around, hey, thanks. I appreciate it. You're a good person. Kisses. Make sure you stick around for
That's
next
the name
week.
of my Sylveon.
Kisses. Make sure you stick around for next week because we are reviewing Pokemon I Choose You, our first reboot movie. Because now we're hitting 3 of them in the coming weeks, so this should be exciting. But yeah, if you guys enjoy and you want to stick around and see some more and stick around for the next episode, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notifications every time a new video comes out. And I'll see you guys next time.